Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Lunch and Learn Live. I'm so glad that you are here. And let me just say happy Valentine's Day to you on this February 14th of 2019. So I'm so happy that you're here. And this is actually not going to be a really long Lunch and Learn Live. The topic for today, identifying your requirements, is something that has been popping up this week and really the past couple of weeks. And so I felt I needed to address it. And so it's not going to be a long, extended session today, but I hope it will be valuable for you. So before I jump into that, let me just introduce myself to those of you who don't know who I am. My name is Dana L'Oreal Morales. I am your holistic process strategist. I help entrepreneurs develop, implement, and streamline their processes for a better work-life balance. And so I am so excited to talk to you guys about not only this topic, but anything process and organizing related in your business and personal life. So like I said, we're going to jump right into the topic. Oh, well, before we jump into the topic, just a little administrative task here. If you are watching this video from the Happiness Buckets Lunch and Learn Live watch page, you will not have access to the chat window, which is perfectly fine. You don't have to necessarily chat with me, although I do enjoy the back and forth there. So you can watch it from there. But if you would like to gain access to the chat window, you will need to click on the link that's below the video to come over to the YouTube watch page where the chat is accessible. Additionally, if you are on the YouTube watch page and you are interested in signing up to get notifications about Lunch and Learn topics, or you would like to register to be a Lunch and Learn Live speaker or guest, then definitely go over to the happinessbucket.com's watch page so that you can have access to those links. So that is all of the administrative stuff that I need to cover with you today. So we're just going to jump right into the topic of identifying your requirements. Now, as I said earlier, this has been coming up so much lately. I see it in Facebook groups that I belong to where people are choosing software or systems for their businesses without doing their due diligence and without fully understanding the requirements. I see this happening in my full-time job as a project manager where projects just aren't as successful as they need to be because the requirements that the team is working from versus management is working from are not in full alignment. And then just in personal life of seeing people trying to plan for events and launches and things, and they don't fully understand what they're looking for, what they're trying to do. And of course, with clients, I am seeing this as well. So I just want to address it so that you don't fall into the trap of trying to plan things without identifying your requirements first. So we've talked about this in previous videos, specifically in our system versus tools video. I kind of touched on it in that video, but what are requirements? What is the purpose of a requirement and how do you go about identifying them? Well, in a nutshell, requirements are like the boundaries of what it is that you are doing. So imagine it is a fence around your project, around your launch, around development, around your event. It is the fence around you that says, this is how we are doing this. These are kind of the rules that we are setting around what it is that we are trying to do. So I'm going to give you an example of an event because everybody at some point in their life plans an event, whether it's a birthday party or an anniversary, a retirement, or maybe it's a launch. Maybe you have a live event that you're planning for your business that you're wanting to plan. So how do you go about developing your requirements for these? Well, the first thing that I recommend is that you just sit down and just start thinking about what it is that you are trying to do. What is it that your goals for this event? You take the goals for this event and what it is that you're envisioning it to be. What is it that you're wanting it to be like? And begin to pull out the important pieces of that. So in using a retirement party, for example, or you can say launch, a live event, whichever, because they're kind of the same, right? So let's say that, let's use live event. Okay. Let's say that I am wanting to plan a live event for my business and, that's all I really know, right? So what are some of the requirements that I would have around that? Well, how many people do I think I want? Is this going to be a full day event or a half day event or just a couple of hours? Is it going to be local or is it going to be in another city or international? Is it going to be available only in person or will there be a webcast of the event or a teleconference of the event? And when that's another good point. Is it live where I'm physically there, or is it live meaning it's like the Lunch and Learn Lives where I am virtual but it's live? Are people going to be able to pay at the door, or are they going to pay in advance? Like all of these things are things that would help make up your requirements document. You don't have to necessarily know all of the answers when you come up with the questions. You just need to know these are things that help to define the overall event. And the reason these are important is if you are trying to keep let's say that your budget, because this is an area that comes up a lot, right? Say you have a very limited budget. Well, that budget may help to dictate how many people you can have at the event, how much the event is going to cost. Are you going to serve food or not? Your budget is going to help dictate that. So if you have requirements on your list that are in conflict, you have to determine which of these requirements is the priority, which of these requirements really needs to be changed or adapted for what it is that you are trying to do. And what the other thing in totality, right? So it's making you look at the things that you're wanting to do in totality, and it is making sure that they are all in alignment with one another. Okay. So what I am seeing, let me just break it down. So what I have seen over the past couple of weeks is, and I talked about this when it came to system selection. So, one of the groups I'm in right now, we're going through a big process of getting things in alignment and setting things up in our businesses. And so there's a specific task that was given, and I'm going to use the example of setting up a website, right? So setting up a website, just go set up a website. Let's use that as the example. Well, in that particular case, we had several people saying, well, should I do it on this platform or this platform? And well, should it be self-hosted or hosted? And then the question is, well, what hosting system what hosting provider do you use? Well, several people named one provider. And what I noticed is that people started saying, okay, I went out and I set up my hosting on this provider. And I'm like, well, the questions that the person was asking or the people were asking, it was very obvious that they did not understand what hosting was. That's number one. And number two, they were still trying to figure out what types of things they should be adding as a feature of their service. And so that told me in that one little question that they asked, it told me they went to purchase something that they didn't fully understand and that they had not fully vetted. Because one of the questions, they were asking for a feature that in other vendors is actually offered for free. And it doesn't mean that the vendor that they chose was cheaper. It just means that they didn't include it and this one does. So in a comparison world, if you look at your requirements, the things that you absolutely need to have, and then do a comparison against your vendors, then that can help you narrow down what is the best option or the best vendor for your business and your environment. And so this is what I'm seeing a lot of the times is that people, and it's just, you don't know. And so I totally get that, right? Like I do this day in and day out. So that is the first thing that I know to do. Well, you may not know that. And so you're going out and you're picking these tools based on the recommendation of someone else, but their business is in a different place, or what it is they're trying to do is completely different from what it is that you're trying to do. Is like asking me for my recommendations as far as where to live in the city, or what type of house to buy, or you know mm, what yeah, what neighborhood to live in, right? Well, there are requirements around that. You have to identify the requirements for what it is you want in a home. So I can say, yeah, I know some homes that are for sale, but if you have a budget of $250,000, I don't need to send you a list of homes that are $400,000. It is totally not in your budget, and it is wasting your time and my time, right? So you want to set those boundaries. If you're looking for a home, what are the boundaries of what it is you're looking for? We do it without thinking about it in our natural lives, but I'm putting a title on what it is that you're doing. You are identifying your requirements. I need a 3-bedroom home. I need a fenced in yard for my pet. I need a home that is in a neighborhood without a HOA. I need hardwood floors. Like all of these things are requirements for your new home. Right. And so the same thing happens with your, like I said, with your personal, if you're picking schools, if you're setting up an event, if you're developing something, right? So you're going to develop. So let's say, using that website example, that you were about to engage somebody to build your website. Okay. What are the requirements that you have for your website? Have you mapped out what it is you're looking for with your website? Have you identified what your goals are for your website? Like all of these things help a developer know what they're supposed to be developing. So you don't just say, I'm looking for a website that looks nice, and here's a picture of what I'm looking for. Like that's helpful, but that is not providing all of the requirements. How many people do you think are going to be coming to your website on a day-to-day basis? Who is your target market? Like all of these things are part of the requirements that you're going to provide to your developer. So when they come up with their design, or when they start to develop, they have that in mind. You don't want to say, if you have a simple site, for example, that does not require a lot of bells and whistles, do you really need to go all the way in to get a really expensive developer to come in and do this big bells and whistles development on your site? Or can you afford, can your business handle just having a simple site that is not hard for you to develop, but just has the underlying foundation that is needed? These are things that are costing you unnecessary money because you aren't identifying those requirements and figuring out what is really needed in your business today or in the next 3 to 5 years. Okay. So I want you to think about this. Like I said, this was going to be a short topic, and I knew it was going to be short because it is what it is, right? Build your fences, your boundaries around what it is that you're trying to do in your business and in your personal life as well. So I wanted to throw that out there. And of course, if me sharing this with you, if you are feeling overwhelmed, if you are feeling like you don't fully get it, or where you've done this in your business and you need to rectify this, maybe you have a project going on right now that you really need to kind of get a handle on building your requirements documents, reach out to me, right? We can set up a consultation session to where we can sit down and talk about what it is you're trying to do in your business. And I can walk you through how I can assist you in whatever it is that you are doing. Because listen, guys, taking a little time in the beginning to plan it out properly and to develop your processes properly is going to save you not only time but money in the future, because you're going to eliminate the leaks that you are probably going to create if you don't do it right the first time. And leaks, of course, are gaps in your process that allow money to fly through. When you think about somebody trying to come to you, if there's a big hole in the road, that person's not going to get to you. They're going to be on the other side of the hole. I need you to fill the hole in. I need you to fill the gap, right? So that your customers can get to you properly. Okay. So definitely reach out to me if you feel like you need some help in any area that I talk about. And I will be happy to work with you. You can reach out to me at dana@thehappinessbucket.com, or you can just go over to the website and there is information there of how you can connect with me as well as the various services that are available. So I hope you found this helpful. I hope you have a great Valentine's Day, and I will talk to you next week. See you later. Bye.